Okay.
You're in the hot seat. Perfect. That's good. Got it? So you can hear me? Okay. I'll use my big girl voice. You guys let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks for coming up. Appreciate it. I know you're
Sure.
busy here. What would you say has been, the AFRL has been around for 100 years. What's the secret to the success of the organization?
So point of clarification is the AFRL Materials and
Materials and
Manufacturing
Manufacturing
Directorate,
Directorate.
100 year. Um, just the fact that we have had such a big impact on almost every airplane that the Air Force has ever flown. If you look back to the Wright brothers, they sold their first airplane to then the Army Air Corps back in 1908 or whatever, but it really wasn't usable. It wasn't until um, what is now AFRL stood up to really have some rigor into some of the processes, some of the material specifications, that it really became a usable tool for the military. And starting from there, going on into making aluminum and metals part of airplanes, to composites, to some of the materials used for electronics. Just it's amazing when you think about it. All of the materials that are in an airplane, we've really had a big impact on.
What is it about the people there that really is the fuel behind all the research and technology and all the achievements?
They're some of the smartest people I know. It is just amazing, the creativity, the things that people come up with. And you know, we're not in it for the money. We work for the government. We don't get paid a lot of money, contrary to what you may hear out there in the media about all these government people making over $100,000. If these scientists were working out in industry, they would make a lot more money just because of the impact they have. We have people who are just world class.
What are some of the achievements that you think are of particular note?
For me, being a guy who worked in composites, just the fact that we really had a hand in the invention of aerospace composites, starting from carbon fiber and making that a usable material for airplanes, to making it affordable so that it could be used on a whole host of airplanes, and the impact that has had not only on the Air Force but really commercial aviation. You see it now on the 787 and the Airbus planes because of the investments made by the AFRL Materials and Manufacturing Directorate.
What was one of the most rewarding projects that you personally worked on?
I would go to the Advanced Composite Cargo Aircraft. So after the end of the Composites Affordability Initiative, where we really developed the tools to make composites affordable and to make large and integrated and bonded airplanes possible, it really wasn't ready for prime time. We needed to show that you could do it in a real airplane. We were fortunate that the Secretary of the Air Force was looking for a demonstration on manufacturing and asked us, hey, could you do something for about $50 million to showcase some things? And we kind of chuckled inside, said, that's crazy, but you know, we'll take your money. We worked with Lockheed Martin to develop a cargo-sized airplane that showcased bonding the airplane together rather than putting it together with fasteners, that you can make very large parts to reduce the part count, reduce the part count by 90%, reduce the number of fasteners by 98%. And we went 18 months from starting the contract to flying a demonstrator. It was just tremendous. We had a small team at AFRL to put this together. We had an equally small team at Lockheed, and it was just fabulous the way this all came together.
What do you think the future holds for manufacturing in the Air Force, and how is the AFRL Materials Manufacturing Directorate going to contribute?
So there's a few things going on in terms of thinking about future warfighting scenarios. Air Force Research Laboratory has anointed a few technologies as game changers, so change how we fight. One of those is hypersonics. So trying to develop a hypersonic cruise missile. There is not an industrial base right now that could make a hypersonic cruise missile in any kind of quantity. We are going to need to get in early to make sure that that's available. Another thing is directed energy. So actually, the phaser beams out of Star Trek, making those a reality so that we essentially have an infinite magazine, that we don't run out of bullets. There's a lot of work involved to get some kind of laser that's powerful enough to shoot down enemy missiles, enemy aircraft into a small enough package that doesn't need a whole lot of power. Mantech is going to be all over that. Then if you look DoD-wide, there's all this talk about the third offset. What's that next revolution in military warfighting? And there's a whole lot of things in there that manufacturing is going to have to touch as well. It's not all about the cyber aspect of it, but it's the merging of the cyber and the physical, where Mantech and really the whole defense industry is going to have to move into.
What can industry do to support what you're doing there?
The big thing is they need to come talk to us about what their thoughts are, what are some of their demonstrations that they're trying to achieve, because we can't do this alone. We have a certain view of the world, but industry is out there. They know their capabilities on the floor, and they know if they're going to have to bid the next airplane and be competitive, they need some advantages and they need some help from technology-wise. So having that dialogue is going to be critical.
What's the moonshot goal right now for the organization? What's the big, hairy, audacious goal in the future?
I would go back to the merging of the cyber and the physical. I mean, that everything that I've been reading, and not just defense-wide, but manufacturing-wise, we do a lot of great stuff these days with the Googles and the Facebooks and stuff like that, and there's a rapid return on investment. But those kind of technologies are going to be needed to actually make things in the physical world. How do you connect your manufacturing plant so you make sure you have the right data at the right time? How do you have your products be able to talk digitally to whatever you need to talk to? That's going to be the wave of the future. We're going to need to have this ingrained in what we do. And because we're the military, we need to add the security layer on top of all of that. So it's a tremendous challenge, something that we're going to have to think long and hard about, what's that next step for us.
That's great. What else would you like to share with the folks that see this video about the organization?
So I've been with AFRL for 27 years now, so not the whole 100, but just to see where we've gone in the time that I've been working has been just tremendous. And I've got anywhere from 10 to 25 years, depending on what happens. And it's going to be amazing to see what that future is going to be in another 25. I'm really looking forward to it.
Great. Part of this we're doing is a congratulatory greeting that's basically directed to AFRL, so congratulations for 100 years, and if you'd like to leave a message like that, we'll edit that into the sequence.
I got nothing, so I'll just
you don't
pass.
want to. Okay, that's fine. Be congratulating yourself, so good.
Yeah.
All right, good.
All right.
That's what we had.
Great.
Thanks. We had
Sure.
some really good interviews today.
That's good.
So.